Brought to you by Alman Auctions, the worldwide leader in antique tractor auctions.
People ask Keith Kuhlengel the same question every time he rolls out his 1919 Townsend 1225.
Is it really a gas engine? It's got a boiler. It should be a steam engine. But it's kind of fun to fool people a little bit with it. But it is such a rare tractor, they haven't seen it. Most people haven't seen it.
That's right. Townsend tractors, like Keith's, are often mistaken for steam engines because of their unique boiler frame design. What looks like a boiler is actually a radiator containing tubes through which cooling air is drawn by a draft from the exhaust stack.
Townsend designed it because he knew farmers were familiar with steam engines, so that if he's trying to get them from horse to tractor, give them something they're familiar with. Oh, that looks like a steam engine. I'm familiar with that. Yeah, I'm interested in this tractor, as opposed to, some of the other ones, they had never seen anything like them. And if you notice, it's got the front spoke wheels, just like a K steam engine done. It has the boiler look. The radiator is the boiler. It has the smokestack. It's got the smokehouse door or smokestack door on the front where the Townsend name is cast. But on top is the 2 cylinders, and it looks just like a little steam engine.
Collectors only know of 5 of these 1225s still in existence, which makes them highly sought after. This 100-year-old tractor was restored by 2 different shops, Anderson Machine in Rosholt, Wisconsin, and Kelch Restorations in Bethel, Ohio. In all, Townsend built 6 different models. 1225 was a reference to the horsepower, 12 on the drawbar, 25 on the belt.
The engine is a 6.5 by 8 bore and stroke. It's a horizontal. It's fed by Townsend's own carburetor. It's got a Dixie, I think it's a 246C magneto on it. And it's timed so it sounds like a steam engine. To start the tractor, you have to prime the petcocks to get fuel in the cylinder. I then pump on the side pump to bring fuel up into the carburetor, fill the bowl up. You have to flip the magneto so they can start it by hand. And sometimes I retard it a little bit. You have to adjust the choke, adjust the throttle, and then you get to crank it with a bar on the flywheel. And there's one particular notch, which is in line with the key on the crankshaft. That is where it goes over compression. It's 1 speed forward, 1 speed reverse, and it's not very fast, even in high speed at that full throttle. And the clutch is the 1 leveler. You swing it to the left and pull back to go forward. You swing it to the right, pull backwards to go backwards. And then the middle is neutral. It's kind of fun to drive, but also when you steer, though, if you notice, it's got the chain type steering, just like the steam engines do. And I think it takes approximately 15 turns to go from left to right of the steering wheel. And being a small steering wheel, you definitely need that knob on it to help spin it.
Roy Townsend worked for the Fairbanks Morse Company prior to founding the Townsend Manufacturing Company. In fact, Townsend tractors were also sold by Fairbanks Morse as the Fairmore. Because of this history, there are some questions about the true identity of this machine.
Now, the 1225, there's a little bit of debate. Peter Knight, the one that I bought this tractor at his auction, had bought this at George Schaff's first auction. And George Schaff had it painted as a Fairmore. George is convinced this is a Fairmore, which is a 1225. And I do have some Fairmore literature, and the tractor looks exactly like that. But George had this painted as a Fairmore. Peter Knight on restoration had it painted, as you can see, as a Townsend. Well, this smokestack door says Townsend on this one. And there is one of the other one, there's a Fairbanks or a Fairmore up in Washington State that David Parfit sent me a picture of, that it says on the front of it, on the smokestack door, it actually says Fairmore. So whether this was a late Fairmore or whether this is an early Townsend 1225, I don't think we'll ever know for sure.
Keith is a passionate collector of machines from around the 1920s and 30s, when farmers were making the transition from horses to tractors.
My interest spans everything but for whatever reason, that teens, 20s, and early 30s really appeal to me, is just seeing the transition, seeing what were they thinking. I'm also interested in the implements. I have a number of threshing machines and implements, grain binders, and things to go with these tractors, because obviously the tractor alone didn't do much. You had to have something to do with it. So I was fortunate that early in my collecting days I started picking up threshing machines and things like that to have something to show with the tractors.
When he's not collecting tractors, Keith works as a neurosurgeon, which is why he's reluctant to own a steam engine. This 1225 helps him scratch that itch.
I'm a neurosurgeon, and my wife is afraid if I get into steam, I'll burn my hands, blow something up. So she acknowledged and encouraged me to get this tractor because it looks just like a steam engine, it sounds like a steam engine, but it's a two-cylinder gas tractor. So to find a tractor that looks like a steam engine, I don't know of any others that look like a Townsend. They were very unique. It is one of my favorites. And when people come, in fact, if you notice I had in the shed, I have it parked in the middle. I don't have it parked on the sides. Because when people come in, that's what they want to walk around it and look at it. Because, is that a steam engine? No. And then I have to start it for them.
So, Dr. Kuhlengel, we diagnose you with a case of classic tractor fever. Do you concur?
Yes, I know the diagnosis has been out there for years, and I realized early on that I most likely had it, especially when you start scheduling your vacations to coincide with tractor shows. You're pretty well incurable at that point.